And my question, which is for all three candidates, has to do with fundraising. More specifically, how and when can we get the philanthropic floodgates open to blow a few more bucks Heritage's way? Because at the moment, all the big capital C cultural institutions are reaping the benefit from people's pockets. There's a cultural renaissance going on in this city for performing arts, art galleries, and so on. But we in Heritage appear to have had that go by us. Now, specifically, I have and my board have raised money to help our three assigned heritage sites. But it's been very difficult because every time you go to somebody, not the private sector, but every time you go to somebody asking them for money, they say, you're going to have a very difficult battle to do so because nobody wants to give money to the city because the city is not a charity, it's government. My question, therefore, is specifically, have or could you include in your platform a mechanism to help make philanthropy like we've seen in the big institutions come our way? In other words, put a mechanism in place that would give people who want to give and can give money the option to choose heritage. And as Mr. Ledrew said, move the prevailing positive prejudice away from the big cultural institutions and help buildings like this in Coburg Lodge and all the many other little institutions that are struggling.
First of all, sir, thank you for your service. I imagine you don't get any thanks for sitting on that combined board, and you deserve it. Those are three important institutions in the city. And the answer is yes, I actually have included in my platform, I alluded to it earlier, is creating a partnerships office within the city. And the intent of that is to create partnerships on our Clean and Beautiful initiative, create partnership on our Youth Opportunities program in the 13 priority neighborhoods, and it can be used as well to create partnerships for heritage. And I think the challenge is we haven't had a place in the city that's responsible for this. One caveat, there's important private sector foundations like the Toronto Community Foundation, and we shouldn't be replicating their role or competing with them. And I think there's an opportunity actually, and I suggest that perhaps we need to get the boards to sit down with the Toronto Community Foundation as well and talk about the importance of heritage and see if they might be able to mount a campaign as part of their work on building this city. But yes, it's in my platform, it's a partnerships office, and it can do exactly what you said.
Jean Field. As much as I think fundraising in communities that are interested in particular heritage sites is good for enthusiasm and spirit, I agree that your funding should not be so much dependent upon it. And I think you've given us a really good suggestion tonight. The money that's gone to improve the cultural sites has largely come from the private sector. I don't think anything from the city and a bit from the province. And so I would, as mayor, have the same kind of historical or heritage renaissance. And I also think you could look at something like a matching grants program or some kind of rebate that we could offer to the private sector to entice them, and so it would be worth their while. Stephen Ledrew.
I have two-part answer to your situation. First of all, I'm a believer in campaigns, and I've been in a few campaigns in my life, and as you can see from the last 3 weeks and the next 2.5 weeks, I believe that campaigns count. So part of it, and I don't know what campaigns you've been running, but part of it is to attune it. But there was something else I heard in your question, which was an institutional problem or a legal problem with the matter of charitable status. And you're absolutely right. When you deal with museums and other standalone functions, which are dealt with or created mainly by acts of British Parliament, they do have a charity status. And I will frankly admit to you, I don't know the problems, the intricacies of it. I assume that they're owned by the City of Toronto, but there must be a way, without alienating them to the City of Toronto, to be able to get a charitable status for you, and then you're off to the races. And yes, I would work for that.
Madam Chair, can I just add a point of information?
Very brief.
The city can issue charitable tax receipts. We can now. I understand the complexities people don't want to give to the cities as a government, but we can now issue charitable tax receipts. It's done all the time.
Question on that